transpositions and exchanges of pieces in the endgame, it's always critical moment. And this critical moment sometimes has to be decided very fast, because chess is timing, as used to say the great Bobby Fischer, and for this reason it's necessary to take such decisions very fast, and because just in 1 second all these possibilities will gone away. This can be illustrated by the next game. It's my game. I'm playing with white against Grandmaster Alexander Chernin, Hungarian Soviet Grandmaster, in Capablanca Memorial in 1980 in Cienfuegos. Of course, white structure is slightly better. White pieces are a bit better placed. Of course, rook is much more active than black rook. Pawn structure is, of course, is much more compact. 3 pawns. Black has some weakness on c5 and some weakness on e7. But the weakness is very interesting thing. Weakness we can say just in one case, when we are able to attack this weakness. If we are not able to attack this weakness, we can't speak about weakness at all. And there is another problem, how to conduct the attack on this weakness. White on move. Of course, it allows to white to start to develop last piece. According to Makugano rule, of course, it's very easy here to see. It's necessary to bring immediately last undeveloped piece into the game. Last undeveloped piece is rook a goes to d1. It's very interesting moment, because in this particular moment I didn't realize as a practical player that it's critical moment. I thought this move is at the beginning when I came to the position. My way of thinking was that this move is quite clear. It's automatic move because there are no direct threats from the opponent. Of course, no direct threats to attack something or to win something. When I started to calculate variation, I realized that my opponent plays knight d7. I take on e7, he takes on e7, I play rook d3. Very logical move, typical move. Both rooks are on the fourth and on the third rank, are prepared to attack some weaknesses on the black side. But black plays, for example, rook c8, I play rook a3, and suddenly knight b6. And suddenly I realized that there are no more weaknesses in the black position. Everything is protected, and my rook are not very well placed really. So my advantage has gone. I calculated this line, I was very surprised what's going on. Then I realized that black has some threat. And this threat is to play knight d7, to exchange bad bishop, and the most important piece in the position, which we can see from this variation, the key piece in the black position, the most important piece, is this knight. And it's necessary to do something, because this knight is a key position, a key piece in the position. So I tried to avoid calculation, developing my plan. I tried to see what can I do to avoid this move, knight d7. So my second choice was quite obvious, and after I refuted move rook d1, my choice was knight e5. Of course, very logical move. On one side I create some threat knight c6, in some moment I can go knight c3, attacking c5 pawn, and of course this move looked for me completely logical, and then second I am avoiding knight d7. Of course I started to calculate this line, then my opponent, and I saw that my opponent will play knight d7 probably. And if I play bishop c5, my opponent will take on c5, on e5, I will take with the rook on c5 attacking knight, but suddenly answer knight d7, so-called backward tactics, which is very rare, it's possible to overlook. Rook c7, king e7, rook d1, and king e7, rook d1, and rook d8. And black obtained extra piece with huge chances to win the game. So I understood in the position that there is huge threat to play knight d7, that it's not possible to apply Makugano rule. Makugano rule is possible to be applied just in the position when there are no direct threats. In this position exists direct threat knight d7. It's not tactical threat, it's positional threat. to keep very strong piece, the best piece of black, which is protecting c5, then attacking this rook from b6. And this piece is very important in black defense. And for this reason, this is positional threat. And now I understood that I am in the critical moment. It's very interesting that I did realize at the beginning that this is critical moment. So I was forced to take another completely different decision. I came to the conclusion that the most unpleasant piece in the position is black knight. And black threat knight d7 is very serious positional threat. With knight d7, black could keep the position. So with such way of thinking, with such way of elimination of variations and elimination of ideas, I came to the strongest move in the position, bishop takes on f6. Pawn takes on f6, rook d8. Rook d1. The same. Next idea is rook d3, attacking pawn on a7. Weakness is on a7 because c5 is protected by the bishop, so c5 is not weakness, but the function of c5 is completely different. The function of pawn on c5 that it makes bishop very weak. There are no possibility for black to make bishop active. Rook b8, rook d3 and rook b4. So a very interesting way of defense from the black side, because black want to defend a file in such way. And this now square a3 is not available for white rook, and white and black structure became more, let us say, compact. The pawns can, both pawns after a5 can protect each other, so the structure becomes more compact. So for this reason, structure becoming better and stronger. Of course, it was not necessary to take on b4. The best move after rook b4 is knight d2, because now it's possible to apply in some way another Mikhalchishin rule. This knight is doing nothing. There are no square available here, and knight squares for knight available as c4, b3. So knight d2 move is quite logical and quite simple, of course. Rook g8, g4. Rook takes, knight takes, and rook g4. It's quite strong position for the knight, and black tries to diminish it, attacking it, and maybe in some moment black would like to play rook d4. Of course, white move f4 is very clear move, because it's some tactical refutation. Black could try to play e5 with the tactical idea of exploiting pin on the fourth rank, but this pin and this strong position of the rook is denied after h3, rook g8, and pawn takes on a5, winning a pawn and winning the game. So for this reason, after a4, black has to think about some creation of some weakness. Otherwise, there are very bad threats, rook a3, rook a7, winning the game. So black has to try to find some object of attack to create some counter chances in the position. So black can do it, can achieve it only with move h5. Next move will be h4, and black will create weakness on g3, trying to create counterplay. So completely normal procedure, completely normal way of developing. Now we can apply once more Mikhalchishin rule. The most active position piece in the game, in the end game, is king. But in this situation, king is very passive, so it's necessary to activate the king. Where we can put king to f3. So the idea is very clear, and the move is automatical. King f2, h4, king e2, hg, rook g6, rook a3, rook h6. King f3, rook h2. Black attacks white pawn, white plays c3, and in this position you can see everything is protected, fantastically strong position of the knight. Next move is rook takes a7, and black position is completely lost. And we can say what was the reason that black position is lost. White understood that the weakest piece in the position is bishop e7. It's doing practically nothing except protecting two pawns. Bishop didn't move in the game even one move. So it was, in critical moment, it was necessary to understand which piece to exchange bishop or exchange knight. And with the development of calculation, white came to this decision not immediately, just with developing of its own calculation and understanding of the opponent's plan.